Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Gray, and I am going to be presenting a PowerPoint today on curriculum. In this PowerPoint, I will be defining curriculum, as well as looking at the definition of curriculum by various theorists, and also looking at some curriculum types. So with that in mind, let's get started. Curriculum, what is it? As I started preparing to develop this PowerPoint and presenting it, I got to thinking about the definition of curriculum and what curriculum means to me. As my school's curriculum coordinator, you would think that this would come very easily. Unfortunately, it did not. So I had to sort of step back a little bit and start with the basics. So let's go to Merriam-Webster and see what they say curriculum is. They define curriculum as being all the courses of study offered by a school. To me, that was still very vague, and I didn't feel like I was any better off in understanding and how to develop my own definition, how to put it into words. So, as I was walking around the school last week, I was looking at blueprints because we're actually undergoing some major renovations. And as I was thinking and preparing for this PowerPoint, I got to thinking about those blueprints. And I thought, that's exactly what curriculum is. It's a blueprint of a program. Our end result is to make sure that the students have mastered and come out understanding that entire program. But we got to get them there. So in that case, we do just like we do with building a house or building any type of building. We have to start with the framework. So that's what curriculum for me truly is the framework of what is to be mastered by the student. That framework includes the program's philosophy, the courses, the standards, and the studies within the course or program. And we put them all together to get the entire well-rounded individual. Curriculum, though, as I got to think about it, and looking at the studies of these theorists, that there is no real wrong or right answer. The actual definition, as I found, does differ by theorists, so it is dependent upon their studies. It also is dependent on the desires and the needs of the various systems that you might be working in or talking with. And finally, curriculum is always evolving. It's ever-changing. As we all know, this past year with working with the math course of study, along with, we're looking ahead toward the English ELA course of study. So, we're constantly revamping that definition. But in some of the studies that I did look at, the definitions did change a little bit. Ornstein and Hunkins define curriculum as a way of achieving goals through being proactive with planning. In that planning, they included reviewing the school's purpose in order to develop objectives, to identify experiences as they relate to developed objectives, and organizing educational experiences, and then finally assessment, analyzing that whole program. That planning, however, can start at any level. Because of the complexity of the definition of curriculum, educators should review the different types and determine which type best suits their system, their school, or their class. Oliver defined curriculum as the educational program of the school. Design is only as successful as the development that goes into it or the practice that goes into it. Oliver identified 4 basic elements in his definition. You have to look at the program of studies, the experiences, and the service, along with what's known as the hidden curriculum. Hidden curriculum is the lesson or the lessons that are not necessarily intended to be taught, those non-academic. And we will see that in just a few minutes in another study as well. Also, I read and reviewed Wiles and Bondi. They define curriculum as a desired set of goals which can be achieved through experiences of the student. I also looked at Gabi, and what I found interesting about Gabi identified 6 different types of educational curriculum. And I found this very interesting. The first type Gabi identified was the intended curriculum. And as I read about this particular type, I realized that's pretty much probably what most educators in Alabama do, because this is what's required to be taught. Most teachers in the state of Alabama, most leaders in the state of Alabama, when they're talking to their administrators, their teachers, about developing the curriculum for a particular area, they refer to that course of study, so it's what's required to be taught. The second type of curriculum Gabi discussed was the enacted curriculum. This is the curriculum that is impacted to the students because of available resources, the knowledge and demands of the stakeholders. Now, this can be different depending on the size of the school and the community itself. Negotiated curriculum. This considers the learner's backgrounds and needs. The emergent curriculum. This is what develops through discussions and responses. And finally, the hidden curriculum. This is typically viewed, as I mentioned earlier, the non-academic, and this encompasses the values, the beliefs, and the procedures that may be outlined by a particular individual as they're teaching various concepts. You didn't really mean for it to become a lesson, but it did. And I almost left out the final one, the null curriculum. These are the topics that are omitted either due to age or relevancy to the subject matter. This concludes my presentation on curriculum. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day.